What is going on, everybody? It is SCP with the one, the only Harmony. What's going on?
Hello, how are you there?
Good, good. How's it been going?
It's been going pretty well here. I've been keeping myself busy. I'm working on all kinds of stuff. Got something for the magazine coming. I've been making some good containment fiction content on the TikTok. People seem to like it there. I've got a whole. I don't have my board with the articles this week because I've got a whole board here ready to go for another video that I just didn't do yet.
Yeah,
I was going to do it today when I got home from work, but instead I took a nap and visited my grandfather. So I still spent my time pretty well.
You got to do those things. Everybody knows that. Well, cool. All right. I'm trying not to cough.
But I figured we've only got a few things this week, so I thought I'll shake it up a little bit. I'm just sitting at my desk this week. Wow, board.
It is just crazy what's been going on. So let's take a little peek at really a meme that says it all. Here it is. So this, an absolutely astounding week for the SCP Wiki.
It's really something. I haven't seen one of these in quite some time, but I think it was like this for the last. I think this has happened for pretty much every KCON. I seem to recall this. It's jogging the old memory bank.
I've never seen such a constriction, a reconfiguration of just the whole operation before quite like that.
Yeah, well, it's just because it's gotten so much bigger. Every time it's so much bigger, but the same thing happens, so it becomes more and more dramatic.
Yeah, the swell is more dramatic, I guess.
Yeah, so, the swell.
The
ocean metaphors are really perfect.
Well, I say this because it kind of ties into this week. We have I got this from an article from this week, so we'll talk about that article. But I thought it was a great analogy. So, so this is what's happening. So if we take a little quick peek at the wiki, last week we did up until the 30th of June, and so since then.
There's nothing. It's so little. There's no tails or anything. Nothing. Wow, it's really freaking nothing, huh?
My daughter counted to this article count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something.
Never seen that. Just crazy. So I felt like obviously, this is either going to be a show where we end up talking like ridiculous, per article, which, whatever. Or it's just going to be kind of short. So I figured it would be nice to sort of.
Yeah, I'll be honest. None of the ones that I've got this week gave me too much to talk about. But if we need to bloviate to really make sure this isn't silly short, then we can do it. But none of mine are very long, and I don't have too much to say about them. But I could. I mean, I'm sure we'll come up with some discussion. We can branch off, and we can go on some tangents. We always go on great tangents.
You may have to wax poetic or something, just the time. So I thought it would be a nice thing to fill the time with to begin with is just go over what's going on. So obviously the 7Con is coming up. That's what this is all about. And so on the magazine, we've started to really do this series of articles. So we're going to look at every single previous KCON winner and sort of do, kind of an extended commentary on it in article form. So we're going to do this for every single one and have it released by the time of the new one. And Harmony is taken next week with SCP-2000. Here's this week with SCP-1000, which I took.
Yeah. I was also the 2K was the first KCON that I entered, so I figured why not? I think I'm the only person in the society who actually wrote in the 2K con, so I'm like, why not? Well, Phantom might have. Phantom did Phantom write in 2K? Maybe.
That's a good question. Let's see if we can figure that out.
Let's check that out. That feels like she was around back then with me. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
I'm like 99% sure that Phantom.
Certainly the 3000. Oh yeah, look, check it out, Phantom. The black cat. And the white rabbit.
All right.
Yep.
Is there anyone else? Let's do a quick look, because I'm sure there's not that many entries for how many? Oh, there's a few, but wow, yeah.
30. Yeah. 30.
Not that many for a KCON compared to I'm sure compared to 1000. I know that compared to 1000. I don't have to say I'm sure because I was there. Mm-hmm. A lot of people were like, wow, this is so many, and now it's like nothing compared to what we're about to get.
Yeah, this is a typical week here. I mean, like I said, I think we put the betting line at like 105. So for the 7K, and I can tell you just because I'm kind of keeping an eye out. I got my binocs, looking at the horizon for that tidal wave coming up. But I think we got it coming. I can start to see it crest. We got a bunch of entries coming through, like the draft forums and all.
Oh no,
it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
All right.
When does posting start? I'm almost afraid to ask. I don't even know. I haven't even looked.
Yeah, I think it's just at the end of the month. I don't know the specific day.
Oh, it's gonna be a rough August, my friend. It's gonna be a rough August.
I wonder if Phantom also participated in the 3K, the Wicker Witch as well. So I doubt it, but I might ask. You know, I mean, no harm in asking and getting rejected. I may just see if they would like to comment on what it was like to be in that contest.
Do we have anyone else who was in 3K? 3K I know had some more competitors.
Yeah, look at this. A lot of articles here. Mr. Ronan.
So we have a few SCP old timers who are cool enough to hang out with us.
Yeah. Let's see. Old Conwell.
Rest in peace, Conwell. Yeah, exactly. Well, he's not dead. He's just working somewhere else now.
He might as well be. He's doing that residency thing. Oh, I'm telling you, it's just like, you know, there's no work balance life if you're going to do that. It's just so hard.
I'm sure that it's less than ideal. I can't imagine what it's like to go through that, to be from everything that I've seen from the media. That's my exposure, and I think you're the only person who works in. No, I know a few people who work in, but I don't know who's doing like a residency.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I don't know. I guess I don't really talk about it with anyone I know who works in healthcare. I suppose it's like too traumatizing that I don't want to go back there.
Yeah, it just depends on what you're doing. But the most traumatizing thing about that is just the time. I mean, they run them ragged. So, you know, kudos to him though. It's a really, really selfless job. It really is, because you basically got to give up your whole life to do it. So, yeah. So
he's the kind of guy who would do that too.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Hey, so while we're talking a little bit about this, you know, kind of shooting the shit here. So who do you think, maybe I'm not asking who you think will win the 7K, but who do you think would be the most tantalizing person to win the 7K?
Ooh, the most tantalizing? That's a great question.
Yeah.
Ooh, tantalizing.
I have my answer, but I want to see. I want to see what you got.
I would love it if like someone who like Snorlison came back from like absolutely nowhere to win it. Like some like really old name who hasn't been around in like 5 years comes back. Like Smapty comes back, or Short comes back and absolutely crushes it.
That would be fun.
That would be like, if we're talking about like my ideal, like if I could like snap my fingers and like 7K ends the way I say it does, that would be my ideal scenario. But if I had to pick someone who's actually like likely to compete, probably someone like Grigory Carpenter, someone from that crowd.
Yeah.
That'd be my pick.
Yeah, I think
I do not want someone like Placeholder to win with a fucking stupid gimmick article.
Yeah,
I'm sure that they're a good writer, but that's all I seem to see from them is the gimmick article. Maybe that's just because that's all we talk about in society is like, look at this.
Yeah, we're a little honed in on his weaknesses, but you know, he can certainly write some good stuff. I would hope that these, you know, top spots would sort of protect themselves from those gimmicky kind of things. You know, like I think so far it's all been stuff that is, you know, whether you like it or not, you know, relatively substantial, you know, and not like just
everything it's at least had like a genuine like idea and a real, like, I can't think of a single KCON entry that isn't like really trying to do something and isn't all flash and new.
Yeah,
I know that there's been a few entries that were very high that threatened to win that didn't win, like Cactus's Bush Vigor with the fucking alien in Al Gore's head, which fucking hysterical article, but
hilarious.
Please do not give that one the spot, for the love of God.
It's almost like that one article should have been all that happened in that like sort of style and direction, because it was just amazing. I don't think anything released in that style since then.
I think the sequel one was the one where he had fucking like the Ruth Bader Ginsburg witch, right? That was fucking awful.
Yeah. Now, you know, we're talking about doing an iceberg, right, with the SCP.
Oh, like, we're not talking about it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna make that fucking iceberg. Right. I love the iceberg. We have so much material just like ready. We just need to like write these explanations.
And we will.
If no one else wants to, I will make the Photoshop image, and then we are off to the races.
You know, we'll probably do it tonight since I got so much time after this stream that I usually am here. But
if we can get the captions for tonight, I'm down. We just have to get the captions.
Another one that I thought you would probably know something about, but speaking of Megalomania, which is that sequel, you know, 5K injury by Cactus, it experienced what I guess we could call like a phoenix rebirth, where it goes deep into the negatives into deletion territory and then surges back. It rallies back. And
a rare thing indeed.
Yeah, and I know of 3 articles that have done that before, and I'm curious as to what are some other ones.
I have one that did it.
Which one?
The Parasite dating website.
Do you know the number of that one?
I don't know the number, but it's the one that has the picture of the parasite with his playing b-ball with my homies. That like that one SCP quote bot on Twitter always.
Oh,
yeah,
there
that's
it is.
it. There it is. Yeah, that's
oh my god.
That one got pretty low and then it came back.
You kidding me? Because this one's up at 160 now.
Yeah, it got pretty low. It got pretty. Look, if you look in the comments, I don't know if they've rewritten it because I see a different picture now. It looks like the same second one though.
Look at this. Timmy Tapeworm is the name of this.
Okay, so yeah, they didn't rewrite it because that's I definitely named him Timmy Tapeworm.
Who wrote this? I gotta check out who wrote this too.
Me.
You. That's so good. That's so
yeah.
good. We share something in common. I've had two of my articles do that, where they went down into deletion range and then somehow came back up. I don't know how.
I think I have some others that I rewrote like on the fly and they came back, but I think this is the only one that did it by itself without me intervening.
That's so cool. Okay. Well, we got at least 4 for that iceberg, moment. So yeah. Anyway, so we'll get into that. That's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
Definitely.
And then the last thing to mention is that this is kind of a work in progress. Like, still trying to get this to look right, but excuse me, Confic Magazine is doing this IndieCon where it's a contest for independent containment fiction. And so we have been kind of doing this in the Discord for the last month or so, and entry submissions ended, I think it was last night. And so we got all the entries that we're going to have. And so this is now on the magazine. If you just go to the actual magazine, it'll pop up right away.
I love that graphic. That looks really cool.
I got to fix
it. But it's got a little trouble there.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? So I got to fix that. But don't look at that yet. Just look at this. It's nice.
Yeah, that part looks good.
Yeah. And so I'm going to fix this hopefully tonight. But anyway, so if you do go here, once it looks better, we'll have entries and you can read all the things that people submitted. Of course, voting only happens in the Discord. But this will be a page, I think, that we keep on the magazine, kind of like those contest hubs from SCP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Well, we've been dilly-dallying, so let's
I gotta bring my computer back to life because I've just got I don't have my comments written down, so I just have the tabs open here.
I hear you.
That's what you do. I don't have a stream here on my end, so I just got to look at it like with my barbarian eyeballs.
Coughing. So I initially had this to where the ordering of this was more sensible, but something else that was odd about this week in the SCP Wiki is not only did we have just a very low output, but the things that were output seemed to have been subject to higher scrutiny, a higher level of threshold, quality going on here. So a lot of things that I read that I thought, well, I don't see why this should be deleted, were downvoted to oblivion and deleted. And so I think it's just maybe that's happening as well, where the qualities are sort of revving up and they're sort of ramping everything back up to get ready for the...
People are paying more attention.
Yeah, and higher standards of sort of practicing their higher standards, for this contest, I guess.
Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah. So anyway, all that to say, a lot of these were deleted after I had gotten the order down. So we'll try to kind of fumble and stumble and bumble our way through this. But I believe you have the first one, SCP-PL-186. Is that right?
I do. I've got it open right here for me, right in front of me. I'm just going back up to the top. I liked this one. I thought it was the main description. I thought was kind of kind of felt like technobabble, kind of felt like a little bit of gobbledygook, but
it's a statue.
Yeah, cool imagery. I'll be honest, I did not follow the description at all. Like I really tried to get it. I'm sure that like if I looked at a different, if I thought about it for a little bit, but I just had a hard time following what the fuck it was talking about. But it's got cool containment procedures. Like I still had fun reading the description. I didn't follow it super well, but like it had good words and sentences, so I didn't really care that I didn't understand because I liked reading it. If that makes sense.
Of course.
Does that make sense? I don't know.
Of course it does. Yeah.
The words were enjoyable in the order that they put the words in, and then after that, they've got this really cool set of like all these really morbid poems.
Okay, let's see.
That I'm sure there's something that links these that I'm just not getting. I didn't get it, but I also don't really care. I just think that all the poems by themselves are dope.
Okay,
so I fuck with this. I thought this was really cool.
Here we go. Excuse me. Here we go. So wow. So these are all poems
with like cool, like fucking cool ass imagery. Yeah, I'm a potty mouth tonight.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Now's the night to do it. You know.
Exactly. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm feeling. So it's the cast after midnight. It's the Lepers and Harmony show after midnight.
Lepers and Harmony. It's got a nice ring to it. Yeah. So I love it when people put good poetry in works. They find a way to sort of sneak it in. I'm a big fan of poetry, I guess. But this is really impressive imagery. I almost wonder if the imaging team is gonna, sniff this one out and get rid of it. It looks too good almost.
It reminds me, some of the illustrations reminds me of the stuff that I would see in a magazine, especially the one of the angel tombstone with the glow behind it. Yeah, there's a magazine that I read growing up called Weird New Jersey it was all about basically people would write in stories of like supernatural encounters and going to abandoned haunted places and stuff. And a lot of the images would be stuff like this angel that are like the glowy background to look creepy. Especially they had every issue a section called Cemetery Safari where they would take pictures of gravestones that were creepy or interesting. And that reminds me of it. So it was pretty big for a while. They had a TV show on the History Channel, or at least they had a pilot.
What's the name of it again?
It was Weird New Jersey, but they did like Weird every state. You could look up Weird Alabama. There's one for that.
Okay, Weird magazine, something like that.
Yeah, Weird Alabama, Weird Arizona, Weird Alaska, Weird.
Interesting. It's a semi-annual magazine that chronicles local legends. Man, that's very creepypasta, ritual pasta.
Oh yeah. Oh man, we've got back issues going back years and years and years in our house because we've been subscribed as long as I've been alive. We've been subscribed to this magazine. I don't know. I have no idea how my father found out about it. He's the one who found out about it, but he found out about it and he subscribed to it.
Wow.
So we've got.
You're like royalty. I mean, I'm not trying to toot you, but you have like a genetic lineage of creepypasta.
Dude, I've been immersed in this kind of milieu of weird fiction niche writing environments for a long time.
Yeah,
I had I'm like all the ingredients to make the perfect person who's interested in confic.
Yeah, well, good to have you. That's good. Well,
you could make like one of those memes about the Powerpuff Girls for me.
A little sugar, a little spice, a little everything.
I don't know what would the chemical. I don't know what my chemical X would be.
Luck. I don't know. That's a bad one.
I don't know. Mental illness, because it has to be the negative thing. The chemical X was like the thing that made them fucked up, but also made them the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh yeah, you're right. I don't know. I guess I don't know. Estrogen.
Yeah. HRT being trans. Gender dysphoria. Gender dysphoria. There we go.
There it is.
We found it.
Well, so this looks like a really, really interesting article. I mean, just as you say, I mean, the imagery, obviously, but it looks as though these poems, I mean, I got to read just a little here, but, this looks pretty sophisticated all in all. It almost reminds me of what you said about the sentence construction and the wordsmithing, if you will.
It feels like an article like I don't get it, but I feel like I don't have to because the author got it. And the parts that I'm reading are still cool, even if I'm not like, I don't grasp the bigger idea yet, but I still like it.
It's like
listening. Is the mark of a good article, I think.
It's like listening to a beautiful song in a different language that you don't really.
No idea what the hell they're saying. Yeah,
but it's beautiful. You're like, oh wow, okay, like I can do this one isn't loading. I guess maybe it's supposed to be blurry. I don't know. Oh yeah, censored.
I'll look on mine. I'll see. I can tell you if it's blurry for me.
I think it's censored due to a mimetic effect, is what it says.
Yeah, it's censored. Yeah, censored due to a mimetic effect. They did it on purpose.
Super interesting. In fact, this is one of those weeks that I probably will go back and read all the ones that we recommend. I don't always have time to do that, unfortunately. But I am really interested in this article. This has really piqued my interest here.
Yeah, if you can figure it out, let me know because I think it's cool. I don't really like get what. I like that it does a little House of Leaves different color text thing here at the end, but I'm not really sure what that means.
Right, I thought I saw that.
And I don't know what this script here at the bottom is. It looks like I don't want to speculate on what it looks like because I might say something racist by just randomly guessing. But
yeah,
it is not English, so I do not know what it says.
There you go. Interesting. Let's do. I'm always interested in doing this. Google will tell us, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, there we go. Google knows.
Let's just do this for the viewers. Oh wow. Let's just auto detect that. So it is Sanskrit.
I thought it was Sanskrit. I didn't want to say it,
Yeah.
but that is what I thought it was. Okay,
And then of course
cool.
it is that famous quote, "I am time, destroyer of the worlds grown up." It's not really like I guess I don't know if that's the famous quote, but
the Oppenheimer quote is, "I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Thank you. Kind of got that flavor in there, but
yeah, that's a little riff on Oppenheimer there.
Well, interesting. So this is also a I think PL is Polish. Am I wrong?
Yes, I believe you're correct.
Okay.
Sorry,
so
it was like a yes, we have no bananas, but you are correct in that.
So let's see who wrote this. I mean, I guess translated. I am the author of both the translation and the original article, which is not easy to do.
Good. Woo! Bravo! Good job.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. So
who is this author? Let's see.
Archie. I'm gonna try to step my way through this. Archie Dizigiel. Oof. Archie Dizigiel. I am not saying that correctly.
You know, that just reminds me. I'm not going to repeat any of them because they're probably not very kind. But when I would read Mad Magazine, and not when they were coming out, but I have a lot of back issues of Mad Magazine and National Lampoon, and in the 70s there were a lot of people. I don't know what it was, but something about in the 70s there were a ton of people making like anti-Polish jokes about their last names being unpronounceable and all kinds of other stuff.
Oh, I didn't know.
Like really consistently, like that just reminded me of it because I'm like, I can't pronounce that guy's last name. I'm sure it's nothing good or bad about that. I just can't pronounce it because I do not know how it would be pronounced. But in the 70s, if someone saw a Polish last name they couldn't pronounce it, like, oh, I'm gonna hate on this guy.
Yeah, look at that name. You know, no. Hey, so this is why we have Google. Let's listen to what it has to say. Oh, baby.
Ooh, I like that. Sounds cool.
All
right, that's worth having. Let's play that again. I want to hear that one again.
All right, we ready?
Yeah.
Artsijigil.
Artsijigil.
And it means masterwork in English. So that's pretty cool. Well, all right. So let's turn to our handy dandy, trusty tier list here. So this is SCP-PL 186. Where would you put this one? And just
I would put this one definitely at elevating, bringing it up.
I love that.
I was
so worried that we wouldn't have a really good article this week.
No, this one's terrific. I really enjoyed this one. This one I think definitely was the best one that I read this week by far.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah, I'm certainly interested. So, all right, so that's SCP-PL 186.
And unfortunately, it also got the least amount of discussion. It got only the comment from the author. No one else even commented on it.
Just it seems as though there's enough here to merit some sort of discussion.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. If I could still write comments, I would love to ask this author what the hell is going on here and what he means by all this. But I love it.
Interesting construction here too. You've got a double collapsible, so collapsible within a collapsible.
I love double collapsibles.
And then we've got this. The site can't be reached. I suppose it kind of hiccuped there. But anyways, that was a cool kill agent. I think it was animated at some point too. So
it killed your browser.
It did. At least it protected me. It inoculated me. It just got
perfect.
Got deaded. Anyways, so that's a very under discussed SCP-PL 186. You should check it out. Maybe give it a comment or two. It seems like it deserves it and is decently appreciated. I think what was it, a +18 or something like that. So excellent job to the author, and always love to see good representation via translations. All right, and then next, I think I'm just kind of going off the seat of my pants here. Did you also do SCP-6792?
No, I didn't do 6792. My other two are 6387 and 6486. And I didn't look up the names for these because I didn't have my board to write them on. So I just that's why I've been doing it, is because I want to write them on my board, but I don't have that. So
yeah, I'm very bad about that. I have not done that yet. Okay, so I guess this is mine. And actually, now looking at my notes.
Should we look at? Let me look. I'm gonna look up the title of the before we completely move on. Let me look up the title of the Polish one so we can give.
You got that?
Yeah, I'm getting it right now. Hold on. On the Polish PL. What was it? It's called Art is Death.
Ooh, great name. Wow.
That's a saucy one. That one's got some kick to it for sure.
Yeah. I love how titles can sort of bring out certain things. Like I'm thinking of those images that we saw of the skeleton and the You know, it just seems like there was an image where it was like some sort of medical procedure. It looked like the dude.
Yeah, it looked like something like at a World War I.
Yeah, like some sort of catatonic PTSD or something. Okay, so that's cool. Great name. I love it when a good article has a good name. That's really cool. Speaking of names, this one, SCP-6792, its name is I Promise I Won't Say I Miss You. Is the
That's
name.
Pretty good. I like that. That makes. I'm interested.
Nice and poetic. So let's walk through this one. So this is a Euclid, and it's an interesting setting here. So we can kind of tell from the conprox that we're going to be set up in an airport, which I've always felt are very interesting and poetic places to be. Right? They're just in a constant state of buys.
I wrote an SCP in an airport.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did.
Which one?
It's I forget what it's in series 3. It's basically it's kind of like the Langoliers. It's an airport. It's like an airport terminal that you go to. That's like a liminal space. It's based on that guy who was trapped in an airport. It's like an airport space between dimensions where you get stuck and you can't go back.
Wow.
You have to like just live in this airport. I forget the number, but it's definitely I'm pretty sure I wrote it in series 3.
Well, that's interesting that you say that, because this may bring some memories back, because it kind of sounds like what this article is trying to do in some ways as well. So we've got this nice sort of evocative, in my opinion, setting of an airport where, you know, it's just this transitory state where people are just, it's like this soup or slurry of positive and negative emotions, you know, people leaving and, seeing them off, and people reuniting, you know, after some time. And so I like that setting. I think it's a good place to put an SCP. And then, of course, as we read the conprox, it gives us an indication that there's this -1 that's a humanoid. The description we get to, I think this is adequate with some above average clinical tone, which I always am looking for. And we see that this is sort of like a nebula type anomaly that is just a collection of vague anomalies that are sort of just pointed and gestured to, with nothing definitive sort of presented in this way. So, you know, it kind of sidesteps a certain description, and I think gives plenty of room for development. There's a lot of space to play in this sort of style of anomaly design, where it's just sort of like this group of things that have this potential to interact with one another. And so
this really actually reminds me a lot of the article that I read. Hold on, I'm gonna look that one up now, because I'm like, this is a lot. This is striking. I'm wondering. I looked at the discussion. I was like, did they rewrite this? Was this actually a rewrite of that one of mine? They can rewrite mine whenever they want.
Might be. In fact,
I'm trying to look. Oh God, what the fuck was it called?
You said that airport. I thought that I had read that airport name in here too. I mean, that may just be.
Yeah. Okay. There's frying. It's not out of the frying pan, is it? No. There's this one. This one's the camel. It's the camel now. Spike Taco Disneyland Student Dreams TV language twice.
Well, you look for that. You let me know if you find it.
I can't. I have to find it. Now it's gonna drive me crazy if I don't.
All right. So we got we finally get introduced to our -1, which, as the conprox indicate, is a humanoid apparition type kind of -1 thing. And it's introduced, interestingly, here has a constant over many years in this airport. And doesn't, like the rest of the anomaly, doesn't really give a lot of information. Obviously, this is all going to be saved for the addenda.
Okay, I found it.
All right.
It's a SCP 1494, I think.
You were way off.
Yeah, way off.
Yeah. Flights leaving the Hollywood International Airport. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, so this one is similar. It sort of focuses in on one person, you know, as opposed to this, which details of it looks like a few different people. Examples of treasonous accusations. That's funny. All right. Well, cool. Well, yeah, I'll tuck that in the back pocket. I'll read that later. But this one probably reminds you of this article. It does kind of seem to have the same vibe. And so then we get to the addenda, and the article at this point details very slowly, sort of entry by entry in this addenda, about that missing information from that anomaly. So we start to get some vague idea of what is going on here and what the -1 is. And the pacing, I think, is nice here, with some very eerie moments that come through. There's also a bit, I'm going to use a word that I love, that I rediscovered this week. There's a bit of smarm Okay, there's some smarmy
that's a
points.
classic internet word.
Classic. So smarmy points are in this article. Like, basically, we get down to who this -1 might be, and it turns out it's this like little sort of like child, this little girl, and so it sort of skirts and sort of flirts with this Hollywood sort of trope of this little girl ghost, that like beckons people to follow her, and people do out of this misplaced or leveraged sense of parental security, chasing
You want
after
to help the kid, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, so I mean, there's some of that in there too. There's a couple other moments that are just way too overbaked in what is essentially dialogue. So this article and the author have a tendency to kind of take these phrases and repeat them. Like, this is a good example: "You killed him. You killed him. You killed him. You killed him. You killed him." Kind of, okay, we kind of get it.
On and on and on, yeah.
Yeah, so there are smarmy moments in there that I think don't work very well. And then later in the testimonies of these interactions that we get with this -1 humanoid, we also get this sort of like Hollywood grade plot string along when this girl like runs off into some, like corridor, and the person like follows them and is like trying to shout and like, "Where's your parents?" And poof, the thing is gone. So they feel a little cheap. I think the pacing suffers because of that. It just kind of takes you out of the read for just a little bit. So.
When it goes, you gotta cut it at the right moment. As an editor, it's something you have to learn by feel. You have to know when to cut the scene, because if you let it linger on too long, people get bored. They will stop watching. They will stop reading. They will stop whatevering.
And I think
when to cut.
In this article's defense, it does cast that, what could be sort of an overused component of this little girl ghost. And it actually does kind of use it in a refreshing and interesting way, which we'll get to in a second. Before we get there, I would like to notice, I like how the author structured this. So the first addendum is recorded instances of this SCP, and the second one is encounters of the -1. And there are moments in this first addendum where we basically have the opportunity to interact with this -1, but the author decides to pull all of those out and put them in their own addenda, the second one. And I just think that's a really good, smart move. I think that it sort of builds the tension. As you're reading this, it goes, see addendum 2, see addendum 2, and you're like, okay, what is this?
It gives every addenda a reason to exist, because it's not just a rehash. So it's not just an addenda where everything happened and then it just rehashes it a few times to make sure that you really get it.
And so these exclusions of data, which kind of is a theme to, I think, to the composition of this article in some ways, it sort of adds a nice pull and intrigue throughout the article, which gives it that nice pacing. I don't think the effect would be the same if the encounters were not separated. That is to say, if we had basically addendum 2 and addendum 1 sort of mashed together. And then the article basically ends with this, I think it's the last addendum 3. It's sort of like an investigatory addendum, and rather quickly, I think it ends with not a whole lot to grab onto. It does cast, like I say, I won't explain it totally, but it does cast that little girl ghost in somewhat of a creative and refreshing and different way. Some endings are good when they're left open, but this one seems like the whole thing was just a little too open the whole way, and we never got a whole lot of reasoning for things, and it just ends a little too quickly. It ends before you're ready to sort of conclude or fixate many meaningful beliefs about what's happening here.
Doesn't hit the beats.
Don't hit those beats. It's a missed line almost. It's like, we're watching like a theater production, and you can tell that somebody missed their line on stage. It's like, I
just watched some amateur high school theater for one of my coworkers invited me to his he's doing a play, and it was a lovely play, but it was it's like a school program for bougie kids who get into theater programs where they make a whole musical in 3 weeks. I don't know if it's all the kid that I know who's in it is a very bougie kid, but I don't know if they like also have like people who aren't bougie that they invited to balance it out. I don't know how their program works. I don't want to sound like I'm judging if it's all for rich kids. But anyways, they do this. Anyways, the point is they do this thing where they put they have all these kids together. They have to do a whole musical in 3 weeks. So you're sitting there watching it with that knowledge, and you're like, wow, I can't believe they made this in 3 weeks. At the same time, you're like, yep, they definitely 100% made this in 3 weeks and no more than that.
Which is impressive, but I don't know. Was there enough booze, you think, injected in there to compensate for that lack of
We didn't have any booze. We did smoke like 10 joints in the parking lot.
Oh, well, there you go. I meant booze, but that's good too.
Oh, there was some of that too. Yeah, they were a lot of parents that were supporting. They had shirts and stuff. I supported. I bought it was a $15 ticket, so I bought the $15 ticket. And I bought some snacks there too. So I'm like, I'll support my theater arts in my local community. Sure.
So that's kind of what this article feels like. It just feels like there was a missed line, and we're not sure what should have been there. It's got some strong SCP-3935 vibes, which if you don't, I'm sure you might know. SCP-3935, everybody kind of knows this one. It's a G-Cactus article, 3935, with this, I can't remember the name of it.
This one.
Everybody knows this one. So it kind of has those vibes in the sense that it takes sort of a haunting building, sort of idea, and really approaches it similarly, with the composition, with these sort of sparse things happening and slowly building up to something, with well-placed emotions. Like I said, just some very disquieting and eerie moments that are in there, and even some liminality that the author throws in there too. Really takes advantage of the airport, and what that might look like outside of its usual appropriate context. So some of that is in there too. So if you're a fan of liminal fiction, this article hits that note. But ultimately, I think it's a pretty sappy, a little smarmy, slightly moving article that is worth a read. It's not too terribly long, but ultimately, I would put it in the meh category. This is SCP-6792. So I think it's good. I don't think it's anything special. I think plus 18 at this moment in time is a fair rating for this. So it's not long, so it certainly deserves a read. And once again, there's just not a lot of discussion. I mean, it almost seems that's another element of the SCP Wiki that is just constricted. It's like people have better things to do or something. I don't know.
They just don't care. That's what it feels sometimes. It seems like sometimes people just don't care.
Yeah, they're all too busy on their own 7K article, I guess.
Yeah,
they're all
this
right.
This is probably like, oh, I've got this thing that's mostly done. T-Staffer wrote this, right? I cheated. I look at the author of this one. I'm pretty sure that was T-Staffer.
Actually,
right?
no, that's what I thought too. But it was just that T-Staffer was the first one to comment.
Okay, that's why I glanced at the discussion page, and that's always the OP. Who wrote this?
I know, right? That always throws me off. Holly Nightmare is the author. Not a name I'm familiar with. Yeah, but I think this is good. I mean,
you know what? No, hey, I'm changing my. If I know we were talking kind of about dark horse picks. T-Staffer. That's my dark horse pick for winning 7K. Is T-Staffer.
That's a good pick because as we see, that T-Staffer is like on auto fire right now, just like high RPMs going on with T-Staffer. So that could work to your advantage, like it did with Tanhoney for the 5K, but. We'll see. You don't want to.
It's what happens. Writer bots even if they're just writing that's like hitting that par and not trying that hard, they're still inadvertently making themselves better at writing just by the sheer act of writing so much. Like when you're doing that practice, even if you're not trying, you're practicing. And that makes the fundamentals more automatic. When the fundamentals are more automatic, you are better at writing, even if you're not writing better.
And we've just heard on our weekly sort of reaction series, a couple authors who sort of employed that technique early on, where it's just like, they were just writing because they just wanted to, and that sort of just visibility was what helped get them sort of their footing, but also their sort of social recognition that I think helped contribute to their later more effortful works.
I could definitely say I would say that there's something to that. I feel similarly.
All right, so the next one was going to be yours. I think it was deleted.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So that leaves us with.
I checked. All you set 3 aside for me, and I have all 3 here.
I know, but that last one was SCP-6387, right?
Yeah, I've got one here. I see one here. This might be a different 6387. There is a 6387 that exists.
Is it on this page? 6387.
Yeah, it's on the SCP-6387 page.
Let's check it out. Maybe
I thought this one was pretty bad. So
6387. Oh, I hate to tell you, no go.
Huh?
6387, right?
I'm looking at it right now. 6387.
Had you pulled it up at a previous time or something?
I had it on my computer screen. Look, it's right here. I've got it, and it says
Let's
it's
see.
plus 26. Let me refresh the page.
Let's
Oh
see.
shit!
You should have done that. We had it.
Oh god.
We had it.
Well,
Now
I
it's
can tell you
gone.
it was a pretty bad article. So
Man, I mean, so the rating though, you said it was 26, huh?
I wasn't actually. I didn't look that closely at it. It might have actually been minus 26. I don't know.
Wow.
I just saw 26, so I assumed, oh, article up.
Yeah.
Plus 26.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll be honest. I really make a strong conscious effort to like tunnel vision all the rating module, the name stuff.
Yes.
I really, that I make a great effort to not
Excellent.
I don't encode it into my brain. I do not look. I do not see.
Yes. Good. I'm glad. That's a great role model right there.
It's really hard.
Well, it is. You really. I mean, because the eye. That's really why for so long I've been like, hey, can't we just at least have the option of putting it at the end of the article? Because my argument has always been if you're going to use the number as a heuristic for whether or not the article should be read or not, that's a pathetic heuristic. I mean, you should be able to tell whether or not the article is good after reading a few paragraphs. You can
just skip it and see if it's riddled with grammar and crap. You don't need a reading module to tell you it's bad.
Yeah. And so there's like this part of our brain that wants that heuristic because it wants to be efficient, right? It wants to sort of like take care of these things without having to put in too much thought and effort and energy. But that's really to say, you should be doing your own reading. And I think the rating module probably deserves to be at the bottom after you've read the article so that you can make a determination after you've consumed the actual article.
I think it will be one day. People have been talking about it for a long time. I would like very much for it to happen because I think it would make the site a better place.
I tried to do this with a few articles that I wrote on the SCP Wiki, and I don't visit my articles very much, but I revisited this one and saw that it's almost like the staff, they couldn't help themselves. Like I didn't have a rating module up top, and it only lasted for so long before they got really irritated and they put one up there for me.
Oh, well, thanks, I guess. Right?
That's the thing they do. Okay, well, so I guess we'll move on. The next one is my second to last one. I guess I'll go ahead and do this if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's relatively short. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. So this is ASCI 6862, also known as SCP 6862. And
it's the American Secure Containment Initiative. I love these guys.
Okay, so you know what it is. I had to sort of look it up.
Yeah, I wrote about them in the Canon Con. Old Man in the Sea has some stuff about. I wrote some historical stuff with Theodore Roosevelt and John Pershing.
So as I understand it, the ASCI is sort of a predecessor.
It's the SCP Foundation, but old timey in America.
Gotcha. And then I've noticed that this CSS theme is the same as the Aces and Eights theme.
Oh, that's kind of lazy.
I didn't know which came first, but I don't know. But
everyone's the copy is being lazy. I'll go out on a limb and say if you copy it, without changing it that much, you're being kind of lazy.
Now the logo is different, so that's nice. It's a good logo.
That looks like is that an original logo, or they just like copy a government?
No,
seal?
that's just the U.S. government seal.
This is poop. This sucks. The bad theme.
All right, so we don't like the visuals. But,
no, this is dookie.
We'll
big
move
dookie.
on.
This is like the fucking IJMEA. I don't know if they've updated it, but I remember it used to look like shit. The Japanese branch hated it.
Oof.
Because like you have one Japanese GOI and their look sucks and looks like imperialism.
Oh yeah, no, they did change it. Yeah,
they did change it. Oh, thank God, because it looked like dog shit before.
Yeah, well, it was also the flag was of the rising sun, and
it was like super like hyper like Japanese nationalistic, which was kind of appropriate for the group, but also for that to be like your representation of Japan. I'm sure that I know that the Japanese branch had a lot of people who were not happy about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and all the other countries that the Japanese historically invaded. Like
yes,
Koreans.
Absolutely, I'm sure they did not love to see I'm
that
sure
was
that'd be like if we had Jewish members or gay members or Romani members who would not be happy. They are not happy if someone had put a Nazi flag somewhere.
Yeah, and I asked my wife, who's Korean, I said, hey, give me some insight here. Like, when you see this, does this offend you? And she's kind of like, yeah. I mean, she's like, this is like if you had a Nazi flag. I mean, that's kind of what our equivalent is, to this symbolism here. So I thought it was a good move. That's they changed it. I think it looks better too.
Yeah, well, it's hard to do worse than how it looked before. Even besides having a logo that represents fascist imperialism, it just looked like shit.
Yeah. So it looks a lot better now. So
unlike this just looks like shit.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's hard to. I mean, if it wasn't the same thing as Aces and Eights, I probably have a little more sympathy for it. But
even then, it's pretty basic and boring looking, and it just doesn't have, and it just copies a government public domain image to use as its seal. So what's up with that?
I think the one thing it does is sort of give this little bit of flavor of grit, with this sort of like sandpaper, sort of parchment, sort of esque brown that's going on here. It still retains that foundation crimson, which is cool, I guess. But it kind of gives you the idea. It kind of gives you the feeling that you need to take a shower, but it's before showers were invented, sort of thing. And so that's kind of what this article feels like.
I'm not dirty. I'm dusty.
Yeah, I'm just natural. All natural.
I just came in from the plains. This is how we live out there.
You ever watch the Revenant?
Is that the one where Leonardo DiCaprio fights the bear?
Yeah, and he finally wins the Oscar.
Yes, I saw that in theaters. I loved that movie in theaters. It was great.
This kind of reminds me of like the gross, like the grittiest moments of that. Like, in ways, it's not set in an Arctic environment. But anyway, we'll get into this article now. So, this really feels like it kind of.
Who's the guy in the picture? Does it say in the article who the guy in the picture is? Because he looks like familiar.
Yeah.
Is it General Longstreet?
No, good guess. I think there might be. Is there a Longstreet in this? No. General Officer Earl Crane.
Don't know who that guy is. Is that actually who that is? I wonder.
I don't know if that's a real person.
Let's reverse image search this guy and see if he's active. See if they're making something up.
Will you do that for me?
Yeah, let's tell them. What's the number again? I'm looking up right now.
It is SCP-6862.
ASCII 6862. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the URL is still SCP, obviously.
Okay.
All right. So while you're looking, so this article basically is, once again, it's this predecessor group with the ASCI. I think it, all in all, just to skip to the end, it comes off as pretty unimaginative. The format, that is, because it just adds the word oddity to everything. So instead of designation, I mean, it's oddities designation. Instead of just description, it's description of the oddity. I just feel like the format potentiality here is kind of squandered. I mean, I don't know if this is like a thing for.
Ooh, I've got a wrinkle.
Go ahead.
That's a picture of a Confederate general, and also it is not compatible with Creative Commons.
You are kidding me.
I am not kidding you. It is available on alamy.com. You can buy a license for this stock image for $20 for personal use, $20 for presentation. Here, I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link right now.
Let's see here. So I found a Wikimedia Commons version of it. But
I found one where this guy's.
Ooh, look! It says copyright undetermined. You got it. Oh no! Sorry. Look, I scrolled down. It says this work is in the public domain. So somebody is fleecing people for this image.
Double wrinkle.
Yeah, that's even more scandalous than.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that, and I was like, wait, image this old. There's no way that you could still hold copyright on it. It's like where every person associated with it is dead.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. Look at this. Hold on, let me pull this up on my screen so it's.
That's amazing.
Yeah, look,
there's someone totally ripping people off with this. That's hilarious.
I guess maybe it's just the price for the work that they do. I mean, because it's like, then again, one of them is like website. Like, what do you got to do for your website besides just copy and paste it? I don't know. What do I know about a website? All right, that's really interesting. So hopefully it can stay on the actual article. But I hope this guy didn't pay. I hope the author didn't pay for this.
Oh, I see what it is. This image is a public domain image, which means the copyright has expired. Yeah. Alamy charges you a fee to access the high resolution copy of the image.
Oh,
wow! So they're just ripping you off because you can just go to Wikimedia Commons and get the
that's crazy.
High resolution just fine. That's hilarious.
This looks high res enough to me.
Yeah, what a little rabbit hole we just went down.
Look at this guy putting his hand in his coat like this.
Who do
You
you think
see
he is,
this?
Napoleon?
Yeah, I'm gonna try this out like right now. It's actually quite comfortable.
I don't have. I can put it. I've got a shirt pocket. I could put my hand in my shirt pocket.
Not bad. I might do this in my daily life. We'll see.
I don't know. This just looks like I'm groping myself. I'm gonna stop doing it.
You gotta worry about that. You know, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. All right. So yeah, once again, just the format is not charming. We talked about the looks. We talked about this. It just basically pastes the word oddity on all of these sections, which I don't think works very well. So it's just unimaginative in my opinion. So the con procs I think are pretty interesting. It really sets this firmly in basically the Civil War. So that's nice and true to the historicity of the photo.
Wait. Why are they calling it, saying he was his home region of Western Virginia? It was not Western Virginia then.
A native of Clark County, Virginia, in the Shenandoah Valley.
West Virginia wasn't West Virginia until after the Civil War.
So this said, so let's, wow, that went way over my head. So Western Virginia, right?
West. Oh no, okay.
Okay.
You're right. Western Virginia. Okay. All right.
So not West Virginia.
I don't know why I'm picking on this article so much.
Well, because it's sort of like you know, doing this move to you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's historical. You know.
Yeah, it's historical.
Like,
I'm looking for. I'm trying to pick holes in it.
Yeah, you're putting up your dukes. You know.
Yeah, I'm like, all right. I'm just making sure. I'm making sure. You're crossing your I's, you're dotting your T's.
All right. So now that we know the guy lives in Western Virginia. Yeah, so we're set in the Civil War. So yeah, obviously the document being sort of a character piece is set in this sort of accent that you would expect to find at this time, perhaps. I think it does a good job of it. You know, it never really flourishes this. It never really sings with it and uses it to great effect, but it's there and it's consistent and it's a nice change of pace, right?
I'm gonna say I would have liked it more if they'd really leaned into it and just like gone for the old archaic language.
I agree, because I feel like obviously back then things were a little less standardized when it comes to things like grammar. I would have liked to see a little more play with that, honestly, too.
Yeah, they played it safe here.
And then unfortunately, just lack of detail, lack of attention to detail. You know, this whole thing is supposed to be ASCI, but there are at least 2 instances. There's actually there's 2 instances, maybe 4 if you want to count this wiki walk thing down here. That
I see one in the 3rd paragraph.
Yeah, SCPs. So there's a lot of SCP. This is sort of the equivalent of keeping the X's in if you're going to do this ASCI thing, right? So there's at least 2 in the article.
Wait, it says. Oh wait. Oh, hold on. Hit Control F.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm already at Control. You just can't see it because of the.
No. Hit Control F and go to the top result though.
Okay, so what am I typing? 6862.
No. SCP.
Okay.
And go to the top result.
Huh.
Right?
That's really weird.
What's going on with that one?
You're just.
What is this article, dude?
That's a really interesting. You could really use that to great effect in an article somehow. Like I don't know how to make this.
That feels like a wasted opportunity, doesn't it? That's like a cool thing to discover there.
Yeah, like I don't know what you could put there to like like contextualize a whole article and make it.
You could definitely put something. Yeah. You could have like some kind of dialogue. I'm watching you or something just something that would totally like.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well,
there's a market inefficiency. We just go to market inefficiency. No one's doing stuff with the top bar yet.
You just discovered a whole new
I know a whole new way people can fucking around be gimmicky.
That's cool. That's great. It's
we can't tell anyone about this. We can't post this episode now.
You know what's gonna happen. You know, like maybe in the next week or 2, someone's gonna. Yeah, but the thing is, we won't know about it. You know, for like years probably if they use it well.
True. If it's really perfectly subtle, it'll be like 2 months, 2 years.
We won't know.
Who knows how long from now? Someone's like,
if someone does it right, we will never know. So that's just the irony of it, you know. Which
would make it all the better.
Yeah.
All the better to whoever finally does discover it will be. Ooh, I love it when I just love it any time in media where you can discover something new and something old that's been well trodden.
Yep. This is really off course, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, but after like 25 years, someone finally found out how to get the actual Triforce in Zelda Ocarina of Time. And
you're joking.
No, they found a way to do it. Like, you know, obviously they had to like hack the code a little bit, but it's in the game and they found it, and it's like it's been like 25 years since people were teased about that possibility. So anyway, check that out. That's a total aside. But yeah, so back to the article. So, if you're going to do this character thing where you have the ASCI, you obviously need to change all of the instances of SCP, right? You're just not looking at that carefully enough. And so basically, without going too into what actually happens here, the pacing of this article is just rather slow. It feels like a lot of sort of period-esque exposition, and that is supposed to carry the article by itself. There's not a lot of action here. There's not a lot of movement. It's basically just describing where this individual came from and how. I mean, the idea here is good, I think, which is that there is this sort of thaumaturgically gifted necromancer who is reviving and revitalizing felled Confederate soldiers in the war. And so the Union has to sort of be like, okay, so there's this person who's able to sort of replenish the Confederate side of things by this necromancy, okay? And so that's kind of a good idea. I think that's pretty clever. But it just, nothing happens with the idea. It basically just talks about how it is that this person does that. It's really hard to capture the old Confederate drawl sort of tempo of living and writing and have it be exciting too. And so I think it kind of misses on that moment. And the action here is only really gestured to. We finally get, it's a decently sized article, and it just feels very, very dense and very heavy to sort of wade through. And we finally get to a moment at the end where it looks like they've arranged some tactical plans. They're going to have some sort of battle. And it just sort of skips over that and just tells us the summary in this last addendum here. So it's just too gestured to from afar. It feels like a kind of like a boring assignment. The anomaly is said to be neutralized, and with absolutely zero tension or dynamics set up in the article, it comes off as just very, very underwhelming of a way to get to a neutralization. There's a stinger, pseudo stinger in the last line that is likewise pretty mild and pretty groaning, just indicating that, like, oh yes, this guy's a thaumaturge and a necromancer, but we're gonna go take out the vampire stronghold next. So it doesn't do. It's a very, very meh article in my opinion, and that's where I'm gonna put it. So 2 for 2 for me in the meh. But this feels like if you took SCP-4004, which is, I think a lot of people know as the Communism Will Win and Kinch collaboration from the 4K, and just took away everything that was action about it and interesting conceptually about it, and we just get basically a very rote repetition of some pretty underwhelming things, and there's attempts to make it sort of commentary on slavery in this, but it never really rises to the occasion. I think it really doesn't rise to the moment. So not a great article. And it looks as though Harmony is gone. Harmony says, my phone died. 1 second, rebooting now. I'm going to say LOL, and I'll welcome her back whenever she is here. So this article to me just didn't really hit it. And then I do want to appreciate this comment here from Lord. Once again, I always appreciate people doing good crit. There she is. Hey.
Hi. So I had my charger here, but apparently it wasn't actually getting power to my phone, so my phone died. So now I've got to sit here with it at an awkward angle because it won't reach where it was before.
Goodness gracious. All right, well, welcome back. And last we were so worried about your phone dying, and now it didn't happen. Now it happened this time. We weren't watching for it. Anyways, so I
remember last time we were like, as a countdown, this time it blindsided.
Hey, we got over that. That's been done now, so we can move on.
I'm gonna try to move I've got a little floppy disk holder thing on wheels over here. I'm gonna try to scoot over to see if I can stick this on here. So it's on stable service.
Always bumps in the shows, and now we've checked that box. We've had that happen, so we're good. No worries.
Here we go. All right, excellent. You can see.
Oh, it looks good. Yeah.
See a sneak peek of my board for that I'm going to be posting in a couple days.
So let's take a little. Can you give us a little sneak peek of what is coming next down the
line? Sure. It's all. I'm comparing all the different containment fiction sites, and I made my own ranking system where it's out of 4 hearts. So everyone gets a score in 3 categories out of 4 hearts with a maximum possible total of 12.
This should be interesting.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. And we're talking about like Wayward is probably in there.
I know. I did 5. I picked 5 that I had that I thought that I could say the most about, because I just did a whole video about Wayward, so I thought they're good.
Oh, I haven't seen them yet. I gotta check.
I also thought that I want to pick some more active ones. Chaos Insurgency is slightly more active than Wayward, so I gave them a nod.
Yeah,
so
I can't believe it.
SCP, RPC, Chaos Insurgency, Backrooms, and Liminal Archives.
Cool. Okay, that should be fun. All right. Well, thanks.
But now you're making me think. Now I'm kind of like, maybe I want to replace Chaos Insurgency with Wayward Society.
It is a good one. It is a good one. They got that nice visual spread up there.
You know I love the Wayward.
No, you love it. It's good. It's a really good. I never really thought about that until you said that. So that's pretty cool. All right. So yeah, I do want to read this comment. This is by Lord, who once again I think is an excellent critic. Don't know if I like this. Sherman, you might be able to appreciate this, Harmony. Sherman raised the South to stop a necromancer feels reductive in a way that almost feels disrespectful to the actual reasons that Sherman did that, which was that Sherman raised the South to demoralize people from supporting the Confederate cause, which was slavery.
He did a damn great job of it, too.
Yeah, and so this article does sort of retcon that person and make it a totally different thing, for a totally different reason, which is difficult to do that. You have to be very careful when you're dealing with especially very sensitive things, like this, which is exactly what Lord is trying to say.
Yeah, you have to make sure that your alternate history isn't just turtle doving it and being like, but what if the South had AK-47s and then they won? It's like, but what's the point of the story you're trying to tell here if you're just having a power fantasy for white supremacists? Yeah.
So I mean, it's just,
or in this case, what's the purpose of your fantasy if it's to take something that was a tactic of war that was part of liberating people from slavery and making it about war? It's like when Cactus writes like Ruth Bader Ginsburg fighting witches and warlocks. It's like you're kind of the alternate history you're writing is too wacky and therefore less interesting than the actual history that happened. That's bad historical fiction when it's less interesting than what actually happened.
Well, it really is quite a disservice to the potential of the character as a historical thing, because it really undercuts everything that is noble about that individual and what we know of them. So this is the same here, where this individual Sherman, was fighting against basically slavery, and now suddenly in this article, it's just because there's like a somewhat of a Mary Sue on the other side that he wants to kill, So,
like, oh, now I've got to fight my rival. I've got to go beat the bad guys up.
And then the final line here is the piece as written is certainly fun and bombastically enjoyable, which I don't agree with that one, but that's okay. But it doesn't engage with the backdrop of American chattel slavery beyond a few cursory acknowledgments. That's a great way to put that. So
I think the way that I'd translate that is that you nailed the tone, the modern site tone of Neo-Lol Foundation, but you failed to actually respect the material you were writing about.
Yeah. It's kind of the same sin, right? The same fault is just taking these things that probably deserve a little better, probably should be set in a little more, tailored of a setting, and just missed. So
didn't hit the mark.
Yeah, I did finish it. Obviously, it was quite short. I think it's pretty meh. I would put it on the lower, if I could, kind of put on the lower end of meh, I would. But so that's that one. And what's the name of this one? Let's see. I don't know if I showed.
What's the title? I want to know what the I'm also curious what the title is.
So it is Marching Through Georgia.
Boo, lame.
Yeah, not inventive, not imaginative.
That's not even like a good reference. Like the March to the Sea is a super cool name. You came up with something less interesting than the actual history.
Right. Yeah, you got to be careful. You just make it worse. Just leave it alone. You're not going to make it better.
Just call it the. I don't know. Call it if you want to be stupid and silly. Call it the March to the SCP. Mm-hmm. That would have been better. See, at least then you're kind of alluding to that, and it also gives you an excuse to include SCP, and you could come up with some kind of backronym make it sense for C, and also creaming pollution. I don't know.
Maybe this hidden SCP you found has, I don't know. Maybe this is the article that we've been looking for all along, and we'll realize later that this first hidden SCP up here somehow makes this really good.
That's the hidden bit that ties. It's actually a very long ARG that it's only just begun for us.
Well, we'll be happy to be proven wrong, but it just seems as though this one is pretty firmly in the meh for me. So that's where I'll put it today.
I think you're being a little generous there.
Yeah, probably, but I maybe I need to fix this one because I did finish it. That's just too technical of a thing. All right, so that's
my cat's crying to come in. Let him in.
Oh, well,
you want to come in? Are you coming in?
Cats, love them.
Are you just gonna sit there and cry, or you want to come in? Okay, do I have to open the door for you? Okay, little prince. There you go. There you go. He can jump over the door just fine. He has no problem jumping over the door. He's choosing to make me open the door for him because he's a.
That's what cats do. They're just.
And now he's going over to see if I gave him secret second dinner. I did not.
They just love. It's almost as if they, have decided that we should take care of them.
Yes. And then they're just like, has she given me more food? Will she let me into the room? I will scream until she does.
We had to kick my cat outside. I hate that for it, but my cat kept just tearing everything up in the new house we got, and then peeing on everything. I don't know if your cat has ever done that, but just like something happened, just like something.
He only did that when he was first having his bad allergies with food when we didn't know what was wrong with him, and then once we started figuring that out, then we got him fixed. He's
happy.
Yeah, he gets his special idiot food for stupid cats with dumb food allergies who have to get stupid expensive special food.
Allergy. Well, cats are survivors, so it looks like he's doing a good job of that.
I've got to buy a new bag since it's almost empty. It's gonna be like $100. But
I know, isn't it ridiculous? Yeah,
I found a place that I can get huge bags that last me for like 6 months instead of buying 7-pound bags for like $20 that last me for 4 weeks.
Yeah, we just bought a bag of dog food that was like $90, and that's apparently that's normal. So anyway, okay, so moving on. I think
you got a big dog too.
Yeah, he's a big boy. I think this is the last one of yours. I think it is SCP-6486. Is that right?
Yeah, hang on. I've moved positions here, but I've still got my up on my thing here.
Let's take a peek.
This one I thought had a lot of missed potential. I was very disappointed by this one. Because it's like a doghouse with another dimension inside of it. I don't think anyone's ever done that before. I'm like, cool. It's like something like Snoopy from Peanuts or something like that, or like from that Cats and Dogs movie that you go into. It's like The Secret Life of Pets, where you go into the, there's so much storytelling opportunity from like it's the inside of the doghouse, but it's actually it's another dimension. But it's just I don't know. It has some like Alice in Wonderland vibes, but the main problem I have with it isn't really the effect. It's just that the interview log with it is so wooden that the dialogue put me to sleep and doesn't really sell the imagination of the imagery, because the imagery actually has some good imagination behind it. It's just described by a character who is about as interesting as rubbing sandpaper on dirt.
This is the both of them, or the D class, or Dr. Rosa Byrne, or
that's the cutest little graphic for the show. I love that graphic for the show.
You mean what's in the background there?
The Lepers Harmony one, yeah. Just popped up on screen for a second. I really enjoyed that.
Okay. Yeah, it's a nice little. Thank you. Nice little touch. Okay, so good potential, maybe not the greatest execution.
It always feels like it's like just about to start getting good, but it never starts getting good.
I see some phraseology here that I think is impressive. Dimensionally transcendental structure. That's
it has like a lot of. I'm like, ooh, what's that all about? What's going on there?
Yeah.
And it just doesn't stick the landing. It's like it does a really impressive like triple backflip, then shatters both of its ankles as soon as it hits the mat again.
Yeah, that's you don't really get points for that.
Nope, you get it's a demerit. It's a danger right there.
So let's see how this ends. Release from Foundation custody, being administered. Okay, yeah. All right. So I kind of get. I just want to kind of throw this off of you. I kind of get. So the name of this article is A Better Goodbye, and so I kind of want to feel like this sort of plays with that very, very familiar emotion of, a pet that you've loved that you didn't get to say goodbye to in the right way or something of that nature.
Pet cemetery.
Yeah. So it feels like there's some emotions in here that connect with people. It's got hey kitty.
Oh, but you're gonna be on the show. But
Oh,
you're
wow.
not gonna go to a pet cemetery anytime soon. You're healthy. Give you stupid idiot food to make sure you don't.
I'm gonna boost up this cat right now here.
Yeah. Hey, here he is. Hey, Buggy, you wanna say hi? You wanna say hi? Oh, it's there. He's not having it.
It's perfect.
Perfect.
What a kitty! Oh, he's.
Oh god, look how long this cat is. He's grumpy with me, but he won't do anything. I'm gonna put him down here.
Sorry, look at that.
Good boy, I love you. Thank you for being so patient. I'm showing everyone how long you are. You're so tall. I'm proud of you. Okay, you can go down now. I love you.
Please don't get scratched on stream.
No, he's going. He's fine.
All right, cool.
No, when he's getting ready to scratch, he lets you know. That's his first level. I'm grumpy. You better let me down soon.
This is your warning. You're first.
Yeah, it gets when he's about to hit me, it gets a lot more shrill. That's why I've got one of my hands here. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, this won't show up on camera. But I've got a nice scar in this palm where we got real good a couple months ago.
Cat scratch fever. Watch out for that.
I did wash out right afterwards. I pushed on my palm to push blood out, to push whatever was going in there out of it, and I washed it out.
Yeah, good job. All right,
I'm glad. I knew that I was as I was saying, like, I hope that he's not gonna tell me like, actually that's how you make it more infected.
No, you're good. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with getting that, trying to push that out, flushing it out,
Good.
That works. Right. Okay. So where would you put this? Let's go to our tier. Such a scrawny looking tier. I always feel bad.
What's the one below pushing the bar again?
So we have weightlifting the whole SCP, array of hope, meh, so bad I didn't finish it, and then actively lowering.
I gotta say, I'm gonna give it array of hope because it has enough interesting stuff going on that I'm like, I can't say that it's not compelling, but it's just, it doesn't nail it in the little, like I said, the interviews, the dialogue. Like I like the description. I like what comes with it. That interview really does not sell me on the idea. The D-class character is all his dialogue is so expository. He doesn't feel like he has he or she, I don't even remember what their gender was supposed to be.
Yeah,
because they have no characterization, they have no personality, so I don't remember anything about them as a person other than they delivered all this dialogue that was expository. And as usual, the Foundation character only exists to be a soundboard that asks questions and doesn't have anything to actually contribute to the conversation.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, you can look at the article and see that. So, look at this. Did you? Where did you go? How long did you end up walking? How long?
I hate it. That's such a bad cliche in fucking articles like this, where the dialogue, the Foundation, the person doing the interview has absolutely, like, it could be like a scarecrow with a voice with like a tape recorder in it for all the add to the conversation.
Right. Yeah, it's like watching a really boring ping pong match. That's not even like talented ping pong. It's just like, just the ball just.
Like watching ping pong from the 1950s, where they would just be like chiseling and just standing there and hitting the ball in the same way over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's almost like trying to win by fatigue, but the person who's getting fatigued here is the reader, the watcher. So yeah, it ends on a nice, maybe this punches emotionally by this point. Maybe it's a little smarmy. You never know.
It's not. It's unsatisfying because it doesn't feel earned, because you don't have any emotional investment because the characters are so boring.
Oh, okay, I see.
So it's a nice moment, but it doesn't have any weight because they haven't earned anything. So it's just, you can see that's a satisfying resolution to the story, but you don't feel satisfied because you never felt any lack of satisfaction. You just feel nothing because it has nothing to give you to feel.
Sort of a mechanical route, almost like you've arrived at this place where, like, it's almost like a conveyor belt took you there, and there's no real like engagement with anything in the environment to get you there. It doesn't feel organic, I guess.
Yeah, it feels like perfunctory almost in how it delivers the information in the interview.
So let's take a look here. So it is written by Carl Finkerton, which is a grand name.
Yeah, I like that one. That's
excellent
that's
name.
A winner.
Excellent name. Really a lot of praise from people for this article. Really liked it here. Oh, this is a first SCP. So Carl Finkerton says,
oh, for a first SCP, it's not bad at all, for sure.
Yeah, I like to dedicate my first post in the SCP Wiki to all the people in the IRC who helped me and my cat, Mina, who died recently. So that's...
Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. So this is an emotional... That explains why, even though it's so... I couldn't bring myself... It definitely had emotion. You could feel the emotion behind it.
Yeah. And once again, like this individual says, obviously some final time with a past loved one always tugs on the heartstrings, right? And then, but I thought this was a really great. I just now read this. I kind of want to speak this out loud because it's such a good comment from Estrella. I have to say that wrong.
Estrella Yost.
Thank you. At first, I thought this was cute, but upon further consideration, I have to change my upvote to a no vote. Mechanically speaking, the article does everything fine, but the end results is only the sum of its parts, somewhat predictable and by the book. All things considered, I can see how it works, but it didn't hit hard enough for me personally. So it kind of reminds
me.
It. Yeah, I love seeing really, really well diagnosed crit.
Finger on the pulse right there.
People in the SCP Wiki haven't lost their critical bite. It's just that they've been overwhelmed with how much is coming in to apply that critical bite to.
Wake me up when September ends.
Yeah, hey, there you go. The never-ending September on the SCP.
Summer kids are here for to stay.
Y'all check that out. Okay, so we got that one in. Let's see, where do we put that one?
I just realized I kind of experienced the September that never ended with the containment breach when it came out, because SCP was like a little nook of the internet before that. So I got to live that for a couple of months only before it got swamped. So I was one of the last people who got to see that pre-containment breach SCP.
Yeah. There was you could probably attest to this, but there was a lot of individuals who were not happy about it. I mean,
everyone fucking hated it.
Happening. Yeah, I mean,
we were so mad. All these kids were writing shit and breaking the website and not following the rules and vandalizing stuff. And Wikidot was breaking because there were too many of them. Oh my god, it was a nightmare. Especially, I had just got on SAP and I was like 17, so I was already generally distracted, and then it was like that's one of the reasons that SCP was able to consume so much of my time, was I got hella invested during that period because there was so much to do.
Yeah, you got in just before the wave picked you up and carried you along.
Yeah, and I'm still riding that wave.
Yeah. All right, so this is now our last one of the week. We've only had 5. I think we've drawn this out to a pretty good length, though. I think
we have an hour and a half. We made it over an hour. That's better than I thought we were going to do.
So pretty good. So we'll open this one up and finish it off here. So this is SCP-6716, and this is a pretty quick little article here. Just a first statement, as I always do. I'm not particularly a fan of people putting their author name at the beginning of the article. Not that I'm against author identification, but just I think that it's been a long sort of meaningful tradition in history for this sort of governmental database to not entertain those things in the article. So this one actually goes a step further. It really accelerates that by putting the author here and the title, which the title of this one. So I guess this makes our job a little easier, Harmony.
Yeah, I don't mind the title being there too bad. Yeah. That's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
No.
And I remember when that used to be a major faux pas, though. I remember you'd get fucking roasted for that in 2011 if you tried to put the title. That was like a "you fucking idiot, what the hell do you think you're doing" moment. Like Valinx would come and rip you a new asshole, and Alana and Bright and Echo 4 Delta would all be there to help.
Well, we're here. Here we are. So here's the title. And the title is "The Earth is Aging and is a bit insecure about it." Okay? Gosh.
You had me in the first half, then you lost me in the second half.
Yeah, it's quite a mouthful for this title. Quite a lot going on in that title. So
you know what would be a better title? That's 3 words long. Earth is insecure.
Earth is insecure.
See?
Boom. So this is like I said, kind of a shorter article here. It's got a nice little picture. Like this is kind of an aerial view of.
It looks like it reminds me of. I was looking at pictures of when the RAF sunk the Bismarck.
Yeah, there's definitely some stuff going on down here.
I see some surf lines that also reminds me when I'm looking at they'll take satellite pictures of the ocean around the beaches in Fort Lauderdale and say, "Hey, look how many sharks are in the water right now. Don't go swimming."
Yes, watch out for that. That's you'll never unsee that. But yes, this is in gonna get you. This is in North Carolina here, so it's a beach, and so I think all in all, without going into this, it's pretty short. So just give it a read. I think it's an interesting idea. So basically, what happens here is that it's some weather phenomena that occur, and the shore is sort of being pulled away in this sense, and basically the article tries to sort of give that as a metaphor to balding. I think if I'm reading this correctly, so like how a balding person will lose their hair. This is the beach losing its water. So there's a couple interesting little novelties here where there's a collapsible that says suspend containment procedures because this is a neutralized.
I'm gonna say I know that I'm the environmental South Florida girl, love the Everglades, nature nut, but missed opportunity. You could have had a really good environmental message there about beach erosion if you said that it's losing its sand rather than losing the water.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, so
that's what I would have gotten bad, but
that's a good point. Yeah. All right. Yeah, and then so it's well written. I think it's fine. Yeah, I kind of tend to not like this. This happens all the time. So we get to the end of it. It basically sets this whole thing up, and
note at the end.
Yeah, it's not really note at the end, but you basically like open this up and you get like this dialogue where anytime I see all caps, I'm just instantly turned off because why in the world would somebody be all capsing this document? I get that that it's supposed to lend some sort of emotiveness to the words that otherwise would be hard to push through, but that's why we have things like this, shouting, the sort of stage directions that we talked about last time. So basically, at the end of this, there's this individual. You can see the picture here who is, I guess, experiencing some male pattern baldness, and is basically trying to get into this waters to sort of like participate in this emotionally, this whole thing happening. So and then the end is what I'm trying to get at here is at the end, basically at this collapsible onwards, sort of takes kind of a cartoony sort of turn and takes what I think could have been an interesting setup and an analogy, really, and kind of moves it towards sort of like that younger author vibe of school where let's see how can we make this kind of funny, and how can we kind of push this in a direction of like
a little wacky, a little silly.
Yeah, ending on just the whatever thing. So ultimately, I think this was pretty firmly and pretty easily for me in the meh category. So, I mean, it wasn't like so bad I didn't finish it. I don't think it's actually doing any damage to the wiki. But I think it's, I think it, besides it's.
I will say that one that got deleted, I probably would have put it at the actively lowering the bar. Really? So I thought it was pretty shit.
Well,
it was basically just a really generic. It was a monster made of parts of other animals, and Wilson's Wildlife and the Foundation are working together to do ecology stuff for it. That's it.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's an article about environmentalism and nature, like I was just talking about, and it sucked ass.
It's hard to do that because it's so easy to come off as preachy, and it's not that necessarily you disagree with what they're saying. It's just that it's very easy for those things to come off as sort of heavy-handed.
Yeah.
So
you gotta find it where it's natural and weave it into the narrative textually. An author who's really good at that, Carl Hyacin.
Really?
Yeah, Carl Hyacin. He's a writer for the Miami Herald. He's written a bunch. He wrote Hoot. He wrote a bunch of other Scat. A bunch of books about environmental pollution in Florida, like crime stories involving pollution in Florida.
There he is.
Hoot, I know that Hoot got a movie. Yeah, Carl Hyacin. He's a really good columnist for the Miami Herald too.
Cool.
I like him. He's a local journalism elder statesman. One of my favorite people in South Florida, probably.
Oh, look at that scandalous book, Skinny Dip. I'm interested.
Yeah, Skinny Dip's a good one. Hoot's a good one. Scat's a good one. Carl Hyacin is just a very good writer. One of my earliest writing influences, because I read those books when I was pretty young.
Shout out to that gentleman. Good job,
Carl. Good job, Carl.
So this is actually a first SCP. Now that we're looking at this, so okay, I think it's obviously done well enough to stay on the site. So congratulations to that. And then some people liked it, some people didn't. There's an interesting discussion here about whether or not this should be neutralized or not. So, or if it should be Euclid. So basically, this once again, the anomaly is that the shore has receded or whatever, but then it's back by the end of the article, and so it's considered neutralized. And there's this interesting line in the conprox where it says. The SCP is considered neutralized, though researchers give the probability of a repeat manifestation a high likelihood. As such, there are currently no active containment. There is currently no active containment for SCP, but inactive procedures are preserved below. So that has spawned a little bit of debate as to whether or not this should be.
I like that. That's a nice little wrinkle. I like when people throw the lists like that.
Little wrinkle in there, but that is there's people talking in here about whether or not this should be Euclid or whether it should be neutralized. So but people seem to think that the N should be removed, and I actually agree with them. So this is interesting to see for me, because if you look at something like Rounder House or like Plague PJP or J-Dune, obviously they're very good at what they do. It's not, those things aren't without their skill. But this sort of like zaniness, I would have expected the commentators and the foundation, or sorry, the SCP Wiki itself to sort of be okay with, because we see that all the time. But basically, I was very happy to see this, that people felt like as soon as the article turned a little zany, that's when it turned a little bad. So that was something that I'm just happy to see.
Maybe it's sort of the anti-Neo-Law Foundation backlash. You never know.
So so happy to see that. I mean, I don't think that they realize that's kind of what they're
grim dark.
It's not like emotion in that direction. It's sort of like a head nod in that direction. But I'll take it. I like.
I would love some more Grimdark. Grimdark Foundation is my favorite foundation.
Yeah.
When it's just like stupid, especially my favorite was when it was all like stupidly like dark for absolutely no reason. Like it like leaned way too hard in. But like to me, when you're trying, it's like Warhammer 40K to me is the funniest thing in the entire world, because it's so self-serious and ridiculous, and like the it's so over the top and how it's dark it's trying to be, that it comes right the other side and it's just like, I can't take this seriously.
Yeah, it's sort of like I heard someone describe that as a stack overflow. Where it's the same thing with like The Room, where it gets so bad that it's like, oh, this is really good,
Yeah,
somehow
it's that camp sensibility where something it goes so hard in on the one that it comes out the other side.
It does it pushes through the mold, All right, well, so the week ends there, so we're done.
Wow.
That's all the articles. This is our spread this week. So I mean, it looks a little anemic, but hey, you gotta appreciate these things when they happen, because this is certainly something unique.
Yeah, well, we can do a little compare and contrast this week and the week that the contest opens. We can see.
It's gonna be, oh my gosh, and enjoy the deep breaths now. And it looks as though just looking ahead from today, just a little glimpse.
I probably just screwed my makeup. I'll be damned.
Say what now?
I went to rub my eyes like doing an shit, it's gonna be bad, and then I realized I'm wearing eyeliner, and I'd probably
watch out
the shit out of it. There's a good
you want me to zoom in on you? Let's see. Hold on.
Zoom in on me here. How am I looking? Hey, that's not bad. Hey, how about that?
You still got your wings.
Yes,
looking good. All right. So it looks like the next day, 2 of these are surviving. One is barely surviving. So I wonder if this is going to continue or not. Just looking ahead, just because we got the time. Looks like this is to Staffer again showing up, and this one is hanging on. Interested to read this one. I'm not going to lie. This one was teased to me. Somebody sent me this and said, hey, check this one out. So I haven't read it yet, but
ooh, I love that.
Yeah. We'll see.
Ooh, I like that little. Is that supposed to be like a phone format, or is that just a box in a box?
I don't know. It looks like a box in a box.
I saw that in my immediate first thought. That kind of looks like a phone, like an iPhone.
No, it does look like a phone. My gosh, you're right. Wow, I didn't see it, but now I do. That could be excellent.
That's what I'm saying. Like you get there's so much. They keep leaving the best parts on the table.
I'm telling you, and you're catching them all. You're grabbing them all. So maybe you could put them to good use. I don't know.
This is the secret reason why they banned me from the SCP Wiki. I've got too many good ideas. I'm too powerful.
I know. They're tired of the competition.
They couldn't take it.
All right. Well, I guess that's that. That's tonight. We've been doing this for about an hour and a half, which is a record time. This is certainly a record, you know.
We'll see if we'll be setting some new records next month.
Yes, we will. In the other direction, shall we?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Get your shoes on. Get your shoes.
All right. Let me get Buggy one more time to say goodbye.
All right. Sounds good. All right. So.
All right, Buggy, say goodbye. Say goodbye. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. You like that? No, you want to go down? Oh, he's staying in my lap, so he's not that upset.
Good kitty.
Good kitty.
Well, all right. Well, hey, thanks again. I appreciate it. Even on a week like this, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm glad I've been saying I wanted to stay for a whole episode. I stayed for a whole episode. What's up?
You chose a good week for it. I'll tell you then. You know. All right. Well, hey, I'm looking forward to that new video coming out. I'm gonna catch up with the ones that you've done. So y'all check that out.
I've got one it's in the can that's mostly done about Fishmonger. I've got this one with my board, and then after this, I'm either gonna do one on. I'm either gonna do an adaptation of Pearson's magazine article. He actually sent me a little voice clip and a little picture of his little cartoon avatar that I'm gonna try to do a little Roger Rabbiting there.
You know, I was thinking maybe of asking Dr. Pearson to voice the iceberg whenever we get it done with. You know.
Ooh.
What do you think?
I like that. I think that could be some good stuff. He's got a nice reading voice for sure.
He does. He's very good at like sort of, you know, explaining that stuff. So, all right. Well, I appreciate the attendance and thank you again. We'll do this again next week. We'll see how it is.
I think next week it'll probably still be pretty low. I think that we got a little more time left before the deluge.
So we got to get productive in that time while we can. So that's what I'll try to do. So, all right. Well, everybody, thank you very, very much. This has been SCP CRNP, aka Lepers and
Harmony. Hello. Goodbye. See you later.
Until next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.